Well, hello everybody. Anthony here. Welcome back to another electrifying episode of the Single Parents Podcast, the show that is definitely far from traditional. It's your boy here, ready to jump into another episode. Super pumped to do so because it's actually like super snowy outside of my house right now, in my community, around my general area. Yeah, snow is pouring and it is gross. And I definitely don't want to go outside. I think there's some things I need to do around my city today, but I'm going to delay that for as long as possible because, yeah, it looks absolutely disgusting out there. So great weather for recording a good podcast episode. I don't know what the weather's like in your area. Hopefully it's a lot better than the trash weather outside my house right now. But regardless, I hope you just take this time to get all comfortable, to snuggle in, to get cozy. Maybe you got a blanket, maybe you got a glass of wine, maybe you just put the kids to bed, or who knows, maybe you're driving to or from work, whatever the situation may be. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode. But before we get into the good stuff, just make sure you do a few things for me if you would be so kind. Make sure to subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode in the future. Share the podcast if you would. Share it with a friend, family member, your snowplow truck driver, anything to help make sure that this community continues to grow, to spread, to reach as many hot SPs out there as possible. And then lastly, if you find the show legit, make sure to rate the show 5 stars, highest you can go on whatever podcast hosting platform that you're listening to it on. So that way it tells those algorithms out there that we're legit and it passes it on to more people. All right, let's get going.
Something to relate to.
All right, so how are you all doing? I don't even know if I asked that in last week's episodes because I kind of just shared a bit about what I've been up to, especially towards the end of 2023. But I think I was rude at the end of last episode, to be super, super honest. I didn't even extend the courtesy out to you all, my beautiful listeners, to see how things are going for you. I don't even think I posed the question once in the show. Maybe, I guess I could go back and listen, but I don't have time to do that. So I'm just going to assume that I was a jerk and didn't ask you all how you all are. I hope mentally, physically, emotionally, all the ways you're doing well. I hope your 2024 has been off to a good start. I hope that everything is legit. And if not, as we say in the show, that's 1,000% okay, because life isn't always cupcakes and rainbows sometimes. So that's real. We're not going to pretend like everything's like one of those fake Instagram reels or TikTok videos where all the parents are always so organized and their lunch is cut up in such a nice way and everybody is smiling and kids are always respectful. Nope. Don't think that's the don't think that's the reality. So we're just gonna be us, and regardless of whatever season or situation or whatever that we're in, we're just gonna remember that we are still hot SPs, because in this show we are still in our hot era, and nobody and nothing is going to take that away from us. So I hope you are doing well. For me, honestly, I got to exhale. I don't. I needed that exhale. I really did. I actually felt good. Because I don't think I've taken a good, real, legit exhale. I'm gonna do it. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna do another one because that really did feel good. Yeah, that's the stuff. That's the good stuff. Yeah, I don't think I've actually taken like a good, legit exhale like that since like what, August of last year. Because and I needed it because it's now what, the middle of January, and I still feel like I am recovering slash healing slash still resting up from slash whatever else from the holiday season, man. Oh man. And when I talk about the holiday season, I'm basically talking about the fact that so December, you got Christmas or whatever holidays in there. November, obviously Thanksgiving, October, spooky season, Halloween. You got 3. I guess I didn't realize in my almost 34 years of existence on this earth that we got back to back to back big holidays that will take a lot of planning often. Can cost a lot of money. that especially if you have kids, there's always something going on. I guess I didn't realize until like this year that holy crap, like something every single month for like three months in a row. Then I kind of went back because I said I kind of haven't exhaled since like what, August, because so August is my oldest daughter's birthday month, so that's when we're gearing up for her birthday. September is back to school time, like end of August, early September. Around that time, you got the back to school shopping and the meeting of the new teachers and the open houses, and then getting accustomed to the school schedule after 3 months off on summer break. So that all happens like around September time. And then, as I mentioned, October is Halloween, November, Thanksgiving, and that's another birthday month for me. That's my youngest daughter's birthday month. And then December, the holiday season. And so from August to basically a couple of weeks ago, beginning of January, it's just been got to plan for this, got to prep for this, got to save and budget for this, one after another. And so when 2024 finally hit and I looked out, actually, I went to coffee with a buddy the other day, and he was just asking me, standard coffee conversation questions like what's going on and what I have planned. He basically asked, like, hey, like, well, what's coming up for you? And I kind of like thought about it, and I was just like, oh, oh, ooh, there's nothing, there's nothing like super crazy coming up for a while, right? And I kind of got excited. I got a little happy about that thought, just because I think I just needed the break mentally and financially, that's for sure. Because, in February we got Valentine's Day, and I'll do something cute for the girls then. But I think after that, like the next big thing is what, maybe Easter, spring break time, which is I think like April or March, or I don't know. And then you get ready for the summertime. The point is, there's nothing like super crazy going on for a little bit. And I think I just need that break. I really, really do. I think the holidays really kind of just can kick your butt. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but the holidays back to back to back stuff can just be like a butt kicker. And I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy that time with my kids or with my family or even just the season in general. Come on, we all love Halloween. We all love Thanksgiving food. We all love the December festivities. I'm not saying that. Don't get it twisted now. But what I am saying is it just can be a lot. That's all that I'm saying. And especially when you have like so October, big gear, all Halloween stuff. You get the costumes, and then you got to plan trick or treating, and then there's trunk or treats and school things and this and that. And so you get through that, and then okay, all right, we good. Halloween was legit. And then you just turn the calendar page and boom, prep for Thanksgiving, got to travel to see family, got to budget for that, got to get ready. And then you flip the calendar again. December comes, and there's a million trillion different things going on in December, right? You got parties, you got stocking exchanges, maybe traveling some more. Then you have the holiday if you celebrate Christmas or whatever itself. And then there's presents, and then there's Santa visits, and one more exhale, one more exhale. It was good. It was awesome. It was a wonderful time with my kids, but all of that definitely left me a little exhausted, to say the least. So I love January because I just love it as like a good reset time for all aspects of life, mentally, emotionally, financially. January is actually my birthday month, so instead of planning for buying stuff for other people, I get to sit back and I get to wait for those presents and those texts and those parties and all that to happen to me. No, I think I'm just gonna chill, just kind of enjoy the fact that I don't have to go buy a present for somebody else. Again, not that I don't enjoy doing that stuff. Please don't get my words all mixed up, but I think you all get what I'm saying, and maybe a lot of you can relate to what I'm saying, that it's all wonderful, it's all fantastic, we're making the memories. These are things that are going to stick with us forever. Yes, I would go back and do it all again in a heartbeat, but you have to admit it does feel good to exhale after back to back to back months of all of that big stuff.
Something to think about.
So sometimes as I'm prepping for these shows, what I'll do is I'll go on the interwebs, I'll peruse social media, and I'll peek through what people are searching when it comes to single parent related conversations out there. I mean, you can do this through Google or YouTube or Instagram or whatever. You're just searching keywords just so I can stay in the loop and stay current in the conversation as to what people might be thinking about when it comes to the single parent life out there. And as I was doing one of those searches this week, I noticed that one of the big searches recently was centered around the concept of an only parent versus a single parent. I was like, ooh, that's interesting. I had never really thought about those two different dynamics before. Like, I guess maybe not really in depth, because I was kind of just breaking it down in my own head. And I realized that, oh, yeah, okay, there can be a big difference between a single parent and an only parent in some ways, because all only parents are single parents, but not all single parents are only parents. Did you get that? So let's just break it down. Let's just break it down. Here's what I mean by only parents, right? Let's just give some context, give some definition to this. Only parents are those individuals who essentially it's all them when it comes to raising their kids, parenting, the ins and outs of the day, finances, pick up and drop off from school, all of these different things. Not saying they can't have help like family members or friends or what have you. Not saying they only have to do everything 100% of the time. But what I mean is, at the end of the day, when it comes to their kid having a full time parent, it's just the dad or it's just the mom. Maybe the other parent was just never in the picture from the jump. They basically just provided the biology for the kid to come into the world, and then after that, they bounced. Maybe the parent was in the picture for a little bit, but they did end up leaving for whatever reason. Or unfortunately, actually, I was just talking to somebody recently who's this is their situation. They were in a co-parenting dynamic, but the other parent passed away, and so this mom is now an only parent, not by choice or not because the other parent just bounced or was never in the picture, but because the only parent is just not on this earth anymore with us in that way. So she went from a co parenting, shared custody dynamic to now having her kid 24/7, 365, unless she kind of works something out with somebody else. Nope, the dad's just not there anymore. And so she's in that situation because of that reality. Or it could also just be by choice. Like there's a lot of people nowadays, especially who are just like, yeah, I want a kid, but I just want to raise that kid by myself. I don't want a spouse or I don't want a partner in any way, at least not right now. And so I'm just choosing to have a kid on my own. There's lots of different situations and lots of different reasons as to why somebody might identify as an only parent, but that's what we're talking about. At the end of the day, it's just the mom or it's just the dad versus a single parent, which again, only parents are single parents, but not all single parents are only parents, because I would consider myself a single parent, but not an only parent because my daughter's mom is still fully in the picture when it comes to the parenting roles. So we have shared custody, 50% of the time they're with me at my house, 50% of the time they're with her at her house. We coordinate when it comes to like doctor visits. And just yesterday, we had to schedule some dentist appointments. You know, we do the parent teacher conferences together. If I needed something, I could text her regardless of if it's my week or her week, and we could work it out for the girls. And so essentially, even though in my home I am a single dad raising my kids in my home, just me, I still have a quote unquote partner in the parenting process because the girls' mom is still fully in the picture. So I wouldn't consider myself an only parent because I don't have my kids by myself 24/7, just me all the time. You get it? Is it making sense? So actually, I guess this was last night, huh? Last night I was just working late, just putting in the hours because my girls, they're off right now with their mom at her house. And so when they're off doing their thing with their mom, I have all this, extra time to chill. Well, usually not chill because I just try to use that time as productive as possible, because when they're here, when they're with me, all the attention and all the energy and blah 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 goes to them, right? And so but yeah, I was just working late, and I was talking to one of my friends who is a single mom, and even though her children's dad still is in the picture, he's not very consistent. We'll just kind of say it like that and leave it like that. So she ends up having her kids most of the time. So I don't know if she considers herself an only parent, because again, he is technically still around, but for the most part, she's doing a lot of the work. And so she has her kids basically full schedule, right? So I was talking to her last night, and I was like, you know what? Like, ooh, this is one of the 2 Fridays I have a month, because week on, week off, shared custody. I can go to bed tonight knowing that tomorrow morning I can wake up and not have to either think about going to work or wake up having kids to take care of. So like I get my kids back Sunday nights. So when I go to bed Saturday night and wake up Sunday, yeah, technically I wake up to no work and no kids, but Sunday is a lot of prep for them to come home, grocery shopping, cleaning, all that stuff. So mentally, I'm like, okay, get up, get ready. You have your girls coming back later. But those Saturdays, those Saturday mornings, those two a month that I get when I can wake up, look at my day, be like, no work, no kids, just Anthony, self-care day, whatever. I was like, yes, it's one of those days. Yeah, all right, here we go. So I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna have some drinks. I'm gonna eat some junk food. I'm gonna watch some Netflix. And I'm gonna chill, knowing that I can wake up whenever I need to wake up tomorrow. So I was sharing all of her with this, and I kind of stopped mid conversation and kind of felt kind of bad, because I was like, oh yeah, like for me, having 2 Saturdays a month doesn't seem like a lot, but it's nice when those come. But for someone like her who has her kids basically all the time, I was like, oh, you're probably like shaking your head at me right now, Anthony, being like, yeah, it must be nice getting at least a couple of Saturdays to do self care and to not wake up and have to deal with poop all over the floor and kids screaming and toys and mess and blah 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 blah. Like, she didn't say that, but I was just kind of like, and this kind of got me thinking about the differences and the realities. Me being in a co-parenting situation, in a shared custody situation, means that I am able to kind of map out my weeks and plan for certain things, knowing that, hey, let me pull up the calendar. Hey, you want to do this thing, you want to go on this trip, this event, you want to have this party. Cool. These are the weeks I have my girls with me. These are the weeks I don't have my girls with me. So if you want me in the evenings, I can do this day or that day. Or even just mentally, like, hey, it's been stressful, it's been crazy. We just talked about that in the first segment. But this upcoming Saturday, I don't have to work. The girls are with their mom, so I can sleep. I can catch up on whatever. I can do self-care. I can go on a hike, what have you. And I have that ability, versus an only parent who might not have the ability to make such plans or schedules and set those kinds of dates in their calendars, because it's just them, unless they get help from a family member or a friend or a babysitter or what have you. There's no guarantee that they're going to have help with their kids. And actually, I know somebody who's still like half and half when it comes to that, because she has like two kids, right? She has a son and she has a daughter. So her daughter, she and her daughter's dad have shared custody of her, so she goes back and forward. But her son, his dad, is no longer in the picture, so she has her son 24/7. She's an only parent when it comes to her son, but she does shared custody when it comes to her daughter, and so she still always has her son with her by her side, basically most of the time, all of the time. So it just gets interesting. So I think I say all that to say, and I set that all up to say, this specific segment is to shout out those who would fully identify as a only parent. Those only parents out there who are kicking so much butt, doing an amazing job, basically functioning as both parenting roles, figuring everything out totally on their own, scheduling all the doctor's appointments, the dentist appointments, going to all the parent teacher conferences by themselves. Financial stuff all boils down to them. Every aspect of parenting fully boils down to them and them alone. This is a big shout out to you. We're giving you your flowers. As somebody who is a single parent in a co-parenting situation, I just know how even that dynamic can become mentally and emotionally exhausting. And there's just still a lot, even those weeks where I have my kids for basically 7 straight days. It's just, whoo. So I'm not going to lie. There are times when my girls, they're just driving me crazy and they're just all over the place. And we're going to be real on the show, right? We're real on the show. I can admit this. There's times when I'm just like, you know what? Like, you guys are driving me freaking insane. I love you. I would die for you. I would take a bullet for you right now. However, you're going back with your mom tomorrow night, and at least for that first night when you're gone, I am going to enjoy the quiet because you both are making me lose my mind. And so, usually that Sunday night when they go back to their moms, I fall on the couch and I'm like, yes, this is so nice. And then I usually see like their blanket or a toy they left on the floor, and then I instantly start missing them and be like, oh, I can't wait until you guys come home. And it's just a cycle, right? But once again, I have that ability to even think like, oh man, it's going to be nice when you go back to your mom's house because then I'll get some peace and quiet. But there are parents out there who just don't even mentally can't even go to that place unless they're like, I'm going to get a babysitter or you're going to grandma's house or something like that. Unless they make those plans, they can't even mentally put themselves there. It's just, this is the reality until their kids grow up and move out of the house, whatever. And so I just give you all a round of applause because, like, that's a lot. Like, we're not going to lie. Like, that is a lot. And I'm sure it can be very difficult at times, as much as I know you love your children and you take a bullet for them too. I can only imagine how tough it might be some days going to bed, waking up, knowing that there's no break coming anytime soon. It's going to be like this tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day. There's no other parent coming in to take the kids and helping out. It's just you. I can just only imagine how tough that might be sometimes. And so definitely want to give you all your props. Definitely want to give you all some love, some encouragement. We see you. We love you. We stand you. We give you all the flowers right now because what you do, even if you're just doing the best that you can, some days might be messy and exhausting. You might blow up on your kids and you might feel like the biggest piece of crap mom or dad because you handle the situation in a way that you probably shouldn't have handled it because you're tired and you're stressed. Whatever. We know you're doing the best that you can. We love you. We see you. We respect you. And the shout outs for you.
Something to be encouraged by.
So I was recently talking to a single mom, and she was just kind of sharing with me just some stuff that she has been going through over the last few months, and just some changes and a lot of stress and financial stuff. And ultimately, she was telling me that she was gearing up to go get some help, basically, without giving too much of her business away. She was going to go get some help to deal with just some mental health stuff that has just occurred over those last couple of stressful months. And the help that she was going to go get did involve going to see some specialists and some professionals to really make sure that she had what she needed. She had the tools and she was equipped to continue moving forward in a healthy way when it comes to her mental health. And I have to admit, I really respect and admire for the fact that she was willing to go get some real help and come to the conclusion. I don't know if she was able to come to this conclusion by herself or maybe something happened to where she was able to get diagnosed with something. I don't know exactly how it all came to be, but basically for her to even acknowledge the fact that, hey, like, I am not like okay right now. Like, I love my kid. I love being a parent, but there's just so much going on externally with all of my reality that it's just left me not in a good spot. So I need to either go get help or I need to take the advice of the people giving me help, and I need to do what I need to do in order to make sure that I can keep going tomorrow and the next day and then the next day. I think that takes a lot of courage to admit and to actually live out, especially the type of help I know she's going to go get. I'm sure there might have been a fear of like, well, if people know that I'm going to go get this type of real help, they might think less of me as a mom, or maybe I have this internal sense of shame because I look at all the other moms on social media and they're so strong and they're so this and that and they seem so perfect and blah, 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 that here's me just basically hanging on by a thread, needing to go get real help in order just to continue loving my child well. There could be a lot of that. So I guess after talking to her, I just wanted to say a couple of things. Number one, if you yourself, if you're a single parent listening to, or just anybody listening to this, like, you don't have to be a single parent to take this advice, but I'm assuming a big part of our demographic is SPs. So if you are a single parent listening to this and you feel like you are at the end of your rope, It is tough to make it through the day sometimes. Like what's going on with me is different than just regular fatigue or stress or tiredness that everybody has, especially every single parent. We're all dealing with it. No, what I'm feeling right now is a little bit more. It's a little bit more intense. It's a little different than just the standard. Number one, just know that that's okay to come to that conclusion. You're not less than, you're not a crappy dad or a crappy mom to admit that. You're not even less of a hot single parent for admitting that. If anything, that makes you even hotter being able to admit that, because it means that you're willing to do what you need to do in order to continue loving your kids and yourself well in a healthy way. So if that is you and you're feeling like, yeah, like I it's getting tough out here, I might need to get some help, then please do. And once again, know that that's okay and that's hot and that's awesome to admit that maybe you do need to get some help, or take the advice of some friends or family members who have been saying like, hey, maybe you should go talk to XYZ, or maybe you should look into ABC. And the second thing is, if you are currently getting help for your mental health, maybe you're taking some prescription, or maybe you're going to see a mental health professional, you're going to counseling or therapy, what have you. Like, I just think that is so awesome and so legit, and actually takes a lot more strength if you think about it, especially for us as SPs, than people might realize. Because as a single parent, I get it. A lot of our time, a lot of our energy, a lot of our attention, a lot of our focus, a lot of our reality is centered around caring for our kids and what they're doing and making sure they're healthy and they're fine, and checking on their mental health and their well-being and all these different things. And that's great and that's amazing and that's legit and that's our jobs and we love it. We love a good parent who cares about their kids. Okay. But because we're so oftentimes wrapped up in our kids and how they're doing, it can be very easy to, number one, not even check in on ourselves to see how we're doing. And number two, when it does happen, maybe we kind of put our well being and our health on the back burner. Maybe we kind of diminish it a little bit and be like, no, 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 I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Yeah, I have my therapy appointment on Wednesday, but Bobby, he has to be at soccer. So I'll just cancel my therapy appointment and I'll just take him to soccer, or he has a play date, or the kids are behind on their homework. So we'll basically push aside my health for the sake of doing what I need to do as a parent, right? I know that that temptation is real and I get it. And I know sometimes that's just what has to happen. But just know that your health and your well being is just as important as your kids, because pouring into them on an empty or broken cup isn't going to be very healthy and sustainable long term. It's not going to be what's best for you, and it's not going to be ultimately what's best for them. They need a healthy and present parent, because your presence is what they're consuming a lot of times, and it's how they're learning about the world and they're internalizing it, and it's how they're learning about love and relationships and all these different things. And so we need to just think of it this way. Like, if you are so like concerned about your kid and you want to be the best parent possible to your kid, then one of the best things that you can do for them is care for yourself. Make sure that you're doing well, getting help, going to your appointments, doing what you got to do to stay on the up and up. And if you're already doing that, then wonderful, round of applause. Keep doing what you got to do. If you should be doing that, I would just say 2024, we're in a brand new year. Maybe look to really make that a priority this year for yourself. And once again, just know that there's no shame in that whatsoever. You're not less than. Just because you're seeking and getting help doesn't water down your parenting at all. You are legit. You are bomb if you're doing that. And so for those of you out there who, number one, need help, I would highly recommend you go seek that help if you can, for yourself, for your kids. And for those of you currently getting the help that you need, regardless of what that looks like, regardless of what other people might think, and regardless of the shame and the guilt that you might feel for having to do so, just know that's awesome. That's legit. We here at the Single Parents Podcast, we got your back. We applaud you. We know it's not easy out here. We know our kids are great and blah blah blah. We love the pictures and we love celebrating them, but it can just be tough. We get that. It can be tough. And as hot as we are, as sexy as we are, as badass as we are as SPs, we know that it can be wild out here. So getting that extra help, taking care of yourself is definitely something we celebrate on this show. And with that, everybody, that's going to bring us to the end of another episode of the Single Parents Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in yet again. My name's Anthony, and until next time, stay beautiful. Bye.